It is evident by this, added Jane, that he comes back no more this winter. Pride and Prejudice, Jane Austen. Victoria Annabel Spring, age 16. Tori. I wake up 2 hours after I fall asleep. The amount of sleep I get on Christmas Eve seems to be decreasing each year, probably because my average falling asleep time gets steadily later due to my rather worrying internet addiction. Maybe, eventually, I'll just stop sleeping altogether and become a vampire. I'd be good at that. Not going to bother complaining about my sleeping pattern right now, though, because it's Christmas, and this is the one day of the year when I should at least try not to complain about anything. This is hard when your 7-year-old brother is hitting you in the face with a pillow at 6 o'clock in the morning. I say something along the lines of, "No," and retreat under my duvet, but this doesn't stop Oliver from following, tearing back the covers and crawling onto my bed. "Tori," he whispers, "it's Christmas." Are you awake? No. You are? No. Tori. Oliver, go wake Charlie up. Mum said I wasn't allowed. He starts ruffling my hair. Tori. Ugh. I roll over and open my eyes. Oliver is completely under the covers, looking at me, wriggling with excitement, his hair sticking up on the end like a dandelion. Charlie and I have discussed at length how it's possible for Oliver to be related to us, since he's the literal embodiment of joy and we're both miserable fucks. We concluded that he must have got all the happy genes. Oliver has a Christmas card in his hands. Why'd you have a... He opens the card and a disgustingly cheerful version of We Wish You a Merry Christmas begins to play right into my ear. I groan and shove Oliver off the bed with one hand. He rolls onto the floor and bursts into giggles. So annoying, I mutter, before sitting up and turning on my bedside lamp, resulting in a shriek of yay from Oliver. He begins to wander around my room, opening and closing the card, so it repeats the first 2 notes over and over again. Christmas is okay at our house. It's chilled, quiet. Dad calls it a spring Christmas, which he thinks is hilarious. We open presents when we wake up, then the family come over for Christmas dinner and stay until late, and that's it. I play video games with my brothers and cousins. Dad always gets drunk. My Spanish grandfather, Dad's dad, has an argument with my English grandfather, Mum's dad. Truly wonderful stuff. But it's not exactly a normal Christmas day this year. My 15-year-old brother Charlie has an eating disorder, anorexia. He's had it for a long time, but it's been particularly bad these past few months, and the stress of it caused him to have a self-harm relapse too back in October. He lived away from home for a few weeks at a psychiatric ward that specifically cares for teenagers who have eating disorders. And it definitely helped, but it's still been rough. Obviously. I don't really think there was a reason he got so ill. That stuff just happens, like diseases or cancer. So it's not his fault. Actually, I think it was probably my fault it got so bad. When I noticed that something was off with him, I didn't tell my parents, and I didn't ask him what was wrong. I didn't talk to him enough. I didn't do enough. But it's not about how I feel. It's not even about my parents. Christmas is a stressful time for people with eating disorders, since food is such a big part of the day, and I know Charlie's been feeling anxious about it. He's been stressed all week, arguing with Mum pretty much every day and shutting himself in his room. So today is about supporting Charlie. I pick up my phone, ignore the notifications, and text Becky, my best friend. Tori Spring, 0616. Happy Christmas! Be thankful you don't have siblings. I am tired. Oliver threw a pillow at me. Enjoy sleep. Bye. Kisses. Mum and Dad said we can't wake them up until at least 7:30. It's 6:17 now. I get up and open my curtains to find the world still dark, tinged yellow from the street lamps. I fall back into bed and put the radio on. It's playing a quiet hymn for once, instead of All I Want for Christmas Is You. It's nice. Oliver is spinning around in my desk chair and a choir is singing Silent Night. My eyes are closing again now, and Oliver's sitting in my bed with me, the musical card on a pile of clothes on the floor. It's 6:29, 6:42, 6:55. Oliver's pulling my hair gently. He's talking about what presents he wants and whether Father Christmas ate the biscuits we left him, and I'm mumbling something. I don't know what. I'm drifting off. And then my bedroom door opens again. Victoria? I wake up for the 10th time. It's Charlie, just visible in the dim light, standing at the door in a navy Adidas sweatshirt and checked pyjama bottoms. He looks tired, but he's smiling. You awake? No, I say. I'm having an out-of-body experience. I'm just my ghost. Charlie snorts and enters my room. I turn to Oliver, who has fallen asleep against my shoulder, and give him a little nudge with my elbow. He snaps awake and sees Charlie. "Charlie's here," he yells, and charges from the bed towards him, slamming into Charlie's legs and almost causing him to fall over. Charlie laughs and picks up Oliver like he's a baby, which he does at least once a day, causing him to giggle. Wow, you're very awake, aren't you? "Can we go downstairs yet?" Charlie carries Oliver towards my bed. "Nope, Mum said 7:30. Ugh. Oliver wriggles in Charlie's arms and drops down next to me, immediately snuggling under the covers, and then Charlie sits down next to him against the headboard. Ugh, younger brothers are annoying, I say, but I'm sort of grinning too. I curl up under the duvet. "Couldn't you stay in your own beds?" "Just doing our job," Charlie smiles. "Are you listening to Radio 4? What's with the church music?" "I don't think I can deal with Mariah Carey at this time of the morning." Charlie laughs. Me neither. Like Oliver, his hair is sticking up from his forehead. He's got purple circles under his eyes, and I can't remember what he looks like without them anymore. Aside from that, he looks almost his normal self, all long-limbed and gentle. "I only slept for like 2 hours," I say. "Same," he says, but I think his lack of sleep might be from different reasons to mine. "How many presents does Father Christmas give you when you're 7? Asks Oliver, who's now standing up on my bed and trampling over the duvet. Charlie and I laugh. 7, says Charlie decisively. "The same as the number of years you've been alive." "So, when I'm 80, I'll get 80 presents." Charlie prods Oliver in the chest and he falls over with a wide smile. "Only if you've been good." "I can't wait till I'm 80, says Oliver. "Me neither," says Charlie. "It's good that we're all back together now. It felt weird, just me and Oliver and Mum and Dad. Oliver's still too young to talk properly, and I don't hate my parents or anything, but I don't feel like I'm too friendly with them either. Mum has this thing where she avoids talking about anything even slightly deep or emotional. Dad's the same, but he makes up for it by talking about books all the time. We all get along fine, but I don't feel like we ever talk about anything important. They still don't even like talking openly about Charlie's eating disorder, even though he's getting proper treatment now. I thought things might change, that we might start being more open about feelings and stuff, but we're not." "Can you imagine being a really old man?" Charlie says, putting on an old man voice, and Oliver giggles, shuffling up to join us against the headboard. Charlie's smile is contagious. They start playing I Spy. Today's going to be difficult for everyone, but everyone has difficult days, I guess. I used to think that difficult was better than boring, but I know better now. There have been a lot of difficult days in the past few months. There have been too many difficult days. "Happy Christmas," says Charlie, without any warning. He leans over Oliver and rests his head on mine. I lean a little too, my head on his shoulder. The radio plays. I think the sun is rising, or it might just be the street lamps. I'm not going to think about the past few months, about Charlie and me, about all of the sadness. I'm going to block it all out, just for today. "Happy Christmas," I say. I try not to fall asleep again, but I still do, Oliver's laugh ringing in my ears. It's 10 to 12 and me and Charlie are still in our pyjamas, sitting on the sofa playing the new edition of Mario Kart. It was a present for Oliver, but he's busy with the very large amount of toy tractors that people gave him. My parents got me a new laptop and Charlie a new phone, things we both asked for. They don't really do surprise presents. And while Charlie and I have never really tried too hard with presents before now, this year I got him a Bluetooth speaker for his bedroom, and he got me a laptop case with Wednesday Addams on it. I think we both know each other better than we thought we did. "Is it me, or is this version way harder than the old one?" I asked Charlie. He attempts to swerve baby Mario around a corner, but ends up driving off a cliff instead. It really is. I used to actually be good at this. I drive Bowser directly into a tree and fall into last place. "Do you think we should try Rainbow Road?" "I don't know. I don't think my self-esteem can take the hit." "Wow," he snorts. "Too real?" I smirk. "Maybe." "Kids?" Mum wanders into the room. She's got her Christmas dress on, a purple thing that's actually quite nice, and her hair curled. She always makes us dress up nice for Christmas, as if we're supposed to do something other than slob on the sofa for 12 hours. She raises her eyebrows at us. "You going to get dressed soon?" Charlie says nothing, so I say, "Yep, in a minute. Don't be too long. Everyone's arriving in half an hour." "Yeah, we're just going to finish this level." Mum leaves. I glance at Charlie, but he hasn't looked away from the screen. I don't think they've had an argument today, but I can feel one brewing. And I'm not going to lie, Mum is kind of pissing me off a little bit. She's been really snappy with Charlie since he got home, which isn't helping anyone. If she just checked in with Charlie politely, like, asked him how he's feeling today, maybe Charlie wouldn't mind actually opening up to her. "You feeling okay about today?" I ask. I don't want to bring up Christmas dinner. Charlie and Dad made a meal plan so Charlie could feel prepared, but I read online that talking to Charlie about food and eating all the time actually makes him feel worse. I'm fine, he says. I guess maybe we shouldn't talk about it. We get to the end of the level, and then I say, we have to do Rainbow Road before we go get changed. Really? You think you can handle that amount of absolute failure? You never know. I might be good at it. Charlie laughs at me. We'll see about that. I end up wearing the only skirt that I own, which is grey with a collared shirt and jumper. I rarely get dressed up, since I'm the most unsociable person ever to grace the earth, so I take the opportunity to brush my hair, which is probably the first time I've done that this entire holiday. 10 points to me. Family members start to arrive, and Charlie and I are on greeting duty, which involves more hugging than I would like. First, Grandma and Grandad arrive, Grandad grumbling about something to do with his car, and Grandma gives us an apologetic look. Then our Spanish grandparents arrive, having travelled from Oaxaca last week to stay with Uncle Ant's family. And Charlie has a mangled conversation in Spanish with Abuelo, while Nan embarks on a long lamentation on how I cut most of my hair off in the summer. Dad's brother and his family arrive with them, Uncle Ant and Aunt Jules, and our 3 cousins. Clara, a 20-year-old veterinary student, Esther, who's my age, and Rosanna, a 12-year-old who never seems to stop talking. Then we've got Mum's sister, Aunt Wendy. Several older relatives that I'm still not sure how exactly we're related. Dad's sister Sophia and her husband Omar and their new baby boy. The house is pretty full. Hopefully, a bit later, I'll be able to sneak off to my room for a break. We don't see our cousins more than a few times a year, but it has become clear to me over recent years that they are very much unlike Charlie and me, mainly because they seem determined to be friendly and fun all the time. Charlie, darling, says Clara from across the kids' table, once Christmas dinner is fully underway. Clara looks excellent in whatever she wears, and has been allowed to attend Christmas Day in jeans, which annoys me quite a lot. She points a fork at Charlie, who's on my left. You need to tell us all about your new boyfriend. Esther perks up at this, staring at Charlie through her glasses. Esther doesn't usually talk to us as much as Clara and Rosanna, but from what I can tell from her Twitter, there's a possibility she might not be straight and is therefore always interested in Charlie's love life, what with him being the only openly gay person in our entire family. Charlie shuffles in his chair. He's wearing black jeans and still the navy Adidas sweatshirt, which I suddenly realise belongs to Nick. I think he chose his outfit purposefully to annoy Mum. Clara takes a decisive mouthful of potato. What's his name? Nick. There's a bit of hesitation in his voice. He probably didn't expect an inquisition on top of his other issues with dinner. How long have you been going out? 8 months. Oh, not exactly new then, Clara laughs. Charlie fiddles with his sweatshirt sleeves. Haha, no. Clara clearly can't tell that she's making Charlie uncomfortable. Charlie keeps glancing towards where Grandma and Grandad are sitting, making sure they can't hear anything from our table. Charlie doesn't want to come out to Grandma and Grandad yet, because we think they might be a bit homophobic. Lots of old people are, unfortunately. And you met at school, did you? I wish Clara would just shut up. This isn't her fucking business. Yeah, Charlie forces a laugh. Did Uncle Ant tell you all this, or... Oh, God, yes, you know what he's like. Esther watches Charlie carefully. Rosanna is trying to plait Oliver's hair, much to Oliver's irritation. Clara continues. You should totally bring him to ours tomorrow. Esther meets her eye and grins. Oh my God, yes. We go to their house every year for Boxing Day, and boyfriends and girlfriends are always welcome. But it's not like me or Charlie have ever had anyone to bring before, since he only started dating Nick in April, and I dislike most people. Charlie smiles awkwardly. Oh, I think he's doing stuff with his family tomorrow. Clara pouts. Oh, that's a shame. And then her piercing gaze swaps to me. What about you, Tori? Any lovely men in your life? I fight down the urge to hysterically laugh. No. No. Clara does the laughing for me. Oh gosh, you're not missing much, I promise you that. Straight boys are the absolute worst. She points a fork towards Oliver. Let's all hope that this one turns out better. He might not be straight, Esther finally pitches in. Her voice sounds startlingly like Clara's, but I think I like Esther more than Clara. We've had some okay conversations about Doctor Who. You're so right, says Clara, leaning on one hand, gazing at Oliver like he's a newborn. Charlie, when did you know you were gay? Charlie's eyes widen in fear at the prospect of having to embark on this conversation, but thankfully, at that moment, Dad appears at the head of the table, still with his apron over his shirt and waistcoat, and a Christmas cracker crown hanging dangerously off the top of his head. How's everybody doing over here? He looks specifically at Charlie and claps him on the shoulder. "Everyone doing okay?" For the first time, I have a look at Charlie's plate. He does appear to have eaten some of it, which is a very good sign, since Charlie didn't even like roast dinner that much before his eating disorder. But while it's good that Dad's checking in, he's also drawing everyone's attention to Charlie, which is pretty much the last thing Charlie wants. "We're fine," I say quickly. Dad meets my eyes and gives me a little nod. "All righty. Let me know if you need any more to drink." He wanders back to his table. Charlie turns to me and says quietly, "He's so pestery." I don't really want to say it, but I do anyway. I think he might just be worried. Charlie rolls his eyes. "Can't I just have a normal—" But his voice dies away and he goes back to staring at his plate. He doesn't say much more for the whole meal, which means that I have to suffer through a horrific question and answer session from Rosanna about all of my school friends, and then Esther wants an update on what TV shows I watch, and then Clara gets started on the whole, "So what are you thinking about for university" thing, to which my answer is simply, "I'm not." Charlie keeps taking out his phone and texting under the table, which kind of starts to piss me off, but I don't really want to annoy him, as everyone else in this family is doing that already. I manage to escape the cousin trio after dinner and sit quietly on the sofa, so I check my own phone. Becky Allen, 11:07. LMAO, I'm so glad I'm an only child. 11:09, Merry Christmas, you insomniac. 11:10, love you, kisses. 12:22, Dad got me the new Call of Duty. See you in my next life, kiss. 14:01, Mum's so drunk already. Can your family adopt me? 14:54, Mum is dancing on a chair. 14:59, #save Becky. How are you feeling anyway, Charlie? Uncle Ant's voice snaps my attention away from my phone. Uncle Ant is very much like Clara, big on gossip, big on talking about deep things, generally very irritating. He's sitting on a chair on the other side of the room facing Charlie, who's next to me on the sofa. Charlie's eyes widen as he searches for something to say. "I'm doing okay, thanks. It's so nice that you could come back for Christmas." Can't imagine what Christmas must be like in a place like that. Noticeable tension draws up around us. The grandparents are luckily all having a separate conversation on the other sofa, and Mum and Dad are absent from the room. But Uncle Ant and Aunt Jules, all our cousins and various miscellaneous relatives now have their full attention on Charlie. Charlie's hands curl into fists. "Well, it all got decorated for Christmas," he says, "and a lot of it was really helpful." I hate the way people react when they learn Charlie spent a few weeks as an inpatient, as if it's the most horrific thing they've ever heard. It's because it automatically makes them think mental asylum and crazy people, instead of treatment and recovery and learning to manage an eating disorder. Don't get me wrong. I've read online that psych wards are not always great places, like if they've got shitty staff or they're underfunded, but the one Charlie went to helped him more than me and Mum and Dad were ever able to. He had a whole team of experts helping him understand his feelings and start working towards recovery, without the distraction and pressure of school. In all honesty, going to one probably saved Charlie's life. Unfortunately, by the time I've tried to figure out how to say all of this to Uncle Ant, he has continued spouting absolute garbage. "Oh, I'm sure," continues Uncle Ant. "But you hear some horror stories, don't you? White walls and straitjackets and all." Aunt Jules laughs and whacks Uncle Ant playfully on the arm. "Oh, come on now, Antonio. No mental hospitals are really like that." "Psychiatric ward," I correct her. She clears her throat. "Yes." She shoots a wide grin at Charlie. "We're all very happy that Charlie's better and back with us, aren't we?" "Absolutely," says Uncle Ant. That's the other thing they don't get. They think eating disorders and mental illnesses can just be fixed at the drop of a hat. They don't understand that it's a process, that it takes time and treatment and effort and bad days and good days. "Thanks," says Charlie, but he looks like he's about to throw up. "And how are you, Tori?" asks Aunt Jules. "How's sixth form going?" I begin to recite the classic answer to this question. It's fine, / it's a lot harder than GCSEs, / it's nice not to have to do PE anymore. And as I do, Charlie gets up and leaves the room. I excuse myself and follow him at my earliest opportunity, trying not to hate Aunt and Jules as much as I actually do. It baffles me sometimes that people can just say stuff like that people can just have no idea about things. I wander down the hallway and go to enter the kitchen, but stop when I see Charlie and Mum inside, standing in front of each other as if they're having a sort of face-off. "Do you want to talk to us about it, or do you not want to talk to us about it? You're being very immature, Charlie." "How am I being immature? You're acting like a baby who just wants everyone's attention all of the time." "I don't want people's attention. That's the problem." Mum rips her washing up gloves off her hands. "Look, everyone's aware that this is a difficult Christmas for you. but you could at least recognise that we're trying our best. Trying your best? What do you want? A fucking congratulations certificate? Language. Half the time, you refuse to even acknowledge that I have a fucking mental illness, and the other half you try as hard as possible to make me feel like I'm the last person you ever wanted as a child. And that's when Mum snaps. Get out! She points towards the kitchen door. Just get out. Charlie doesn't say anything at all. He turns around, walks away, exits the room and finds me there. Mum disappears out of view and Charlie stands there, looking down at me. I'm going to Nick's, he says, in what he tries to make a calm voice. Oh, I say. He turns around and starts putting his shoes on. Please don't, I say. I can't. He stands back up. I can't deal with... He gestures towards the living room and the kitchen. All of that. It's Christmas, though, I say. Let's be honest, he continues, as if he hadn't heard me. I'm just a joke of the family anyway. You're not. He reaches into the porch and grabs his coat and a gift bag of presents for Nick. This winter's been the fucking worst. He picks up a spare key and opens the door. It's raining. The cold comes in. I want to cry. I want to do anything to stop him from leaving. Can't you at least spend Christmas with me? I say. He turns back, his eyes are watery. What does that mean? You spend all of your time with Nick anyway. He starts to shout at me. That's because he treats me as something other than fucking mentally ill. I stay quite still. I do too, I say, but my voice trails off. Sorry, he says, but he's already leaving. I'll see you later. The door closes and I don't move. I look down at my grey skirt and I really wish I was wearing jeans. I don't feel like myself. I realise I still have my cracker crown on, so I take it off and tear it into several pieces. I probably should have seen this coming. He's being unfair, but I don't have any right to be annoyed at him. I walk back into the kitchen. Mum is still washing up. I walk up to her and her face looks like stone. Like ice, maybe. There's a pause and then she says, You know, I am trying my best. I know she is, but her best isn't really good enough. And it shouldn't be about how she feels anyway. I walk out of the kitchen and sit on the stairs. Oliver runs past me with one of his new tractors. I go into the porch and open the door to see whether Charlie is just sitting on the curb at the end of our driveway, but he isn't. Winter is usually my favourite season, but Charlie's right. This winter has been the worst. I sit down in the porch, my feet sticking out of the doorframe. There are some fairy lights outside someone's house across the road, but the more I look at them, the dimmer they seem to get. It doesn't feel like Christmas. I think I'm trying my best too. I sit with him at every mealtime. I ask him how he is every day, and sometimes he tells me. I started being his friend as well as his sister. Not that that matters. I don't matter. He matters. A car drives past. It's getting sort of dark now. Dark and cold and rainy. I think about how nice that is, and then I laugh to myself. Since when did they become my favourite things?